It's a beautiful morning in the neighborhood. Okay, Nix, go to the bathroom. And off he goes, racing through the neighborhood, until he finds the perfect spot.
Welcome to Yoldai's Pet Corner.
You know how horses usually run away when something goes wrong? Yeah, this one ran toward traffic. And not because she was scared. Because she needed a human. Fast. This is a true story from 2014. And it's now used as an example of advanced problem-solving behavior in domesticated animals. Because this horse didn't panic. She made a plan. The setting for our story is the idyllic, winding lanes of rural Somerset, England. It's a place where time seems to slow down, defined by ancient hedgerows, sprawling green fields, and a profound sense of peace. On this particular day, Victoria Anderson was out for a ride, enjoying the solitude with her trusted horse, Curve. They were miles from the nearest town, completely alone on these quiet country roads. There was no phone signal to call for help, and no houses nearby to run to. It was just Victoria, Curve, and the tranquil English countryside. The ride was meant to be a simple, peaceful escape, a familiar routine for both of them. But in remote places like this, the line between tranquility and trouble can be perilously thin. Suddenly, the peaceful ride was shattered. A stumble, a loss of balance, and Victoria was thrown violently from the saddle. She hit the hard-packed surface of the lane with devastating force. The impact knocked her unconscious instantly. She lay motionless on the ground, vulnerable and completely unaware of her surroundings. Her horse, Curve, could have bolted. It's a horse's deepest instinct to flee from sudden shock or danger. But Curve didn't run. She stopped dead in her tracks, turned, and looked back at her fallen rider. She didn't leave her side. Instead of giving in to panic, Curve stayed close to Victoria, a silent, watchful guardian. She lowered her head and gently nudged her owner, as if trying to wake her. There was no response. Victoria remained still. It was in this moment that the horse seemed to make a conscious decision. Realizing her nudges were futile, Curve knew she had to do something more. She did something no one would have expected. She turned away from her rider and ran with purpose toward the main road. Reaching the lane, Curve began stepping directly into the path of oncoming cars, transforming herself into a living roadblock. A driver who later recounted the event described the horse's behavior as deliberate and unwavering. She stood with her head held high and her shoulders squared, physically blocking the narrow lane and refusing to move. The driver, initially surprised, grew concerned. He stopped his car and tried to shoo Curve away, hoping to clear the path. But Curve wouldn't budge. She held her ground, a steadfast sentinel with a critical mission. After holding the line and ensuring she had the driver's full attention, Curve changed her tactic. She turned and began walking slowly back down the lane, away from the car. Then she stopped. She looked back over her shoulder, her gaze fixed on the driver, a clear and persistent signal. She waited, making sure he was following. It was an unmistakable invitation, a silent plea. Come with me, something is wrong. The message was sent, and now everything depended on whether the human would understand. So, why did this work? Why did a prey animal, whose primary instinct under stress is to flee, do the exact opposite? This is where the science becomes truly fascinating. To understand Kerry's actions, we have to look beyond simple instinct and into the complex world of animal cognition and the deep social bonds they can form with us. The flight response is hardwired, a survival mechanism honed over millennia. Yet, in that critical moment, something else took over, a different, more sophisticated response. Domesticated horses, especially those with strong, trusting relationships with their riders, become incredibly attuned to human behavior. They learn to read our posture, our gaze, and our emotional state with remarkable sensitivity. Animal cognition experts have a term for what Curve did: referential signaling. This is when an animal intentionally communicates a problem to a human by directing their attention toward a specific object or location. It's a clear, goal-driven form of social communication. It's not language in the human sense, but it is a powerful and persistent signal. Curve wasn't just standing in the road, she was making a statement. She held her ground, made eye contact, and then deliberately led the way. She wasn't panicking, she was problem solving. She assessed the situation her rider was down and unresponsive, and then executed a plan to get help. The driver understood the message, followed her lead, and found Victoria unconscious in the road, a discovery that almost certainly saved her life. Following Kerry's lead, the driver rounded the bend and saw the reason for the horse's strange behavior. Victoria, lying motionless on the road. He immediately called for help. In this quiet corner of the countryside, the call sparked a rapid response. Neighbors were alerted, and emergency responders were dispatched, their sirens cutting through the evening calm as they navigated the narrow lanes. Every second was critical. On arrival, paramedics found Victoria unconscious. They worked with practiced efficiency, stabilizing her with a cervical collar and oxygen before carefully moving her to the ambulance. At the hospital, scans revealed the full extent of her injuries, a serious concussion and significant internal damage. The medical team later confirmed that the situation had been life-threatening. If she had remained there much longer, alone and undiscovered, the outcome could have been tragically different. Doctors credited Kerry's intervention with saving critical time, bridging the gap between the accident and the arrival of medical professionals. It was a race against the clock that Victoria would have lost without her four-legged guardian. Reflecting on the incident from her hospital bed, Victoria understood the depth of her horse's actions. "She didn't just stay with me," she said, her voice filled with gratitude. "She went and got help." It's a story that must have been retold with a sense of wonder among the first responders. You can almost hear the conversation at the dispatch center. So, who exactly called this in? The answer, while unbelievable, was simple. Well, technically, the horse. This story is now referenced in discussions of animal problem solving, human-animal communication, and protective bonding in domesticated species, because Curve didn't react with fear. She assessed the situation and solved it. But here's what's wild. Curve isn't the only animal who went to find a human when someone was in trouble. In part 2, the hero is much smaller, much quieter, and lives somewhere you'd never expect a rescue to come from. Hey, let's go see Rocky in the backyard.
Howdy, Yildai and Rocky here for Yildai's Pet Corner. Last week we got 14 subscribers, best week ever. 14 birds here. Rocky gets, I said that I would be bringing Rocky on. Here he is. Rocky, take your bone. There you go. Now, a couple of things about the channel is that right now we are in version 2.0. Been in it for about 2 weeks now. We are also, starting this week, going into version 2.5. And that's going to be bringing in a narration for the short forms. As soon as we get that all hammered out, then it'll be going and pushing through to the long form videos. Like I said, last week we got 14 subscribers. Got 14 bones minus the one that old Rocky over there is sitting there chewing on. Again, thank you very much. And out.
Welcome back from the backyard, folks. Hope you enjoyed seeing Rocky. Quick recap from part 1. Curve the horse didn't run from trouble. She ran to the road, stopped a car, and led a stranger to her unconscious owner. A prey animal solved a human emergency. Next, a 10-pound hero with no training who sensed danger first. Our story begins in Madison, Wisconsin, back in 2012. A woman named Amy Jung had just welcomed a new member into her family, a sweet, unassuming shelter cat named Pudding, adopted for her son, Ethan. But this happy addition came during a challenging time. Shortly after Pudding arrived, Ethan was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes. For Amy, this meant a new constant vigilance, a world of blood sugar checks and insulin management. The biggest fear for any parent of a diabetic child is what can happen during the night, when a sudden drop in blood sugar, a condition called hypoglycemia, can go unnoticed, leading to seizures, a coma, or worse. It was a heavy weight to carry. Then, one ordinary night, something truly strange happened. Pudding, who was usually calm and quiet, began acting erratically. He jumped onto Ethan's bed, pawing at him and meowing with a strange urgency. This wasn't his normal, gentle self. Confused, Amy tried to settle him down, gently removing the cat from the room, but Pudding wouldn't be deterred. He came right back, again and again. His persistence was baffling. Annoyed, but with a flicker of concern, Amy decided to check Ethan's blood sugar, just in case. The reading on the glucometer was terrifying. His levels were dangerously low, so low that he was on the verge of a medical emergency. She treated it immediately, her heart pounding with the realization of what could have happened. Was it a coincidence? A fluke? The very next night, Amy got her answer. Pudding did it again. The same frantic behavior, the same insistent meows. Amy didn't hesitate this time. She checked Ethan's levels, and once more they had plummeted to a dangerous low. This happened repeatedly, night after night. Without fail, Pudding would sound the alarm. He was more reliable than any machine, more intuitive than any monitor. This quiet shelter cat had somehow become his boy's guardian. He knew, so how could a cat possibly know? Here's the fascinating part. Cats and dogs both have an extraordinary sense of smell, far more sensitive than our own. They live in a world of scents we can't even imagine. And it turns out, our bodies broadcast information constantly. When a person with diabetes experiences a drop in blood sugar, their body chemistry changes. This shift releases specific volatile organic compounds, tiny chemical signals through their breath and even their skin. To a pet with a powerful nose, this change is as distinct as the smell of dinner cooking. Now, specialized service dogs are meticulously trained to detect this exact scent and alert their owners. But Pudding was not a trained service animal. He was just a family cat. So, what happened here? Animal behaviorists have a term for it: spontaneous medical alert behavior. This is when an untrained pet independently recognizes a pattern, a specific scent or change that is consistently followed by a crisis for their human. They connect the dots on their own. Pudding learned that this specific scent change in Ethan meant something was wrong, so he created his own unique alert system. It was loud, it was persistent, and it was absolutely impossible to ignore. He didn't have a certificate, but he had perfect timing. Imagine trying to explain that to your doctor. So, what tipped you off to the low blood sugar? Well, you see, the cat wouldn't stop yelling at us. Doctors confirmed Ethan could have slipped into a diabetic coma without intervention. Amy later said, "That cat saved my son's life," over and over. In the weeks that followed, she kept glucose supplies by the bed and trusted the cat's warnings, moving fast when Pudding insisted something was wrong. It wasn't magic, it was pattern recognition. Pudding paired a scent with danger and a response with safety. Each alert ended with juice, food, calmer breathing, then Ethan waking up. That cycle taught the cat what to do, faster than any class. Pudding went from shelter cat to full-time, self-appointed medical professional. He patrolled the bedside, checked the hallway, and escalated if no one moved until help arrived. No certification, terrible bedside manner, but if you're a parent, you'll take loud over late every time. Perfect timing, because timing is everything in hypoglycemia. A few minutes can be the difference between confusion and unconsciousness. Thanks to Pudding, those minutes were found again and again. Here's the reveal. On one side of the Atlantic, a horse in the English countryside. On the other, a house cat in Wisconsin. Two completely different animals, living worlds apart. Curve the horse recognized her owner was trapped and went to find help on a nearby road. Pudding the cat sensed a silent medical crisis and became a persistent, life-saving alarm right inside the home. One sought external aid, the other provided an internal alert. Different species, different situations, yet the same incredible pattern emerges. They both perceived a hidden danger long before any human could, and they took decisive action. It's a powerful, instinctual drive to protect. And speaking of animals doing incredible things, don't miss Sea Life Saturday, where we dive into ocean stories just as unbelievable. Hey, let's go see Rocky and his pups.
On behalf of myself, my pups, and my dad, we thank you for watching.
Please remember to like
And subscribe. We get bones.